Welcome. This is Brett Johnson in New York City with OneMedRadio. Today we are with Punit Dhillon. He is the co-founder, president, and chief executive of OncoSec, symbol ONCS, on the over-the-counter exchange. The San Diego-based firm has developed some advanced treatments for cancer, specifically using a technology called electroporation, which is an approach that eliminates some of the detrimental outcomes associated with standard of care therapies such as surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. Thanks for joining us today, Punit.
Oh, thank you very much, Brett, for having me.
So tell us, what is electroporation and why is this important?
Well, electroporation is the use of this electrical field to stimulate or potentiate a biologic or chemotherapeutic to more effectively enter the cell membrane. By using this electrical field energy, we're able to move an agent up to 4,000 to 10,000-fold in terms of increasing the movement of that agent. So we do a very good job of getting these agents into the cell, and then once it's in the cell, it ends up performing its intended function. By using electrical fields, it's a different delivery mechanism, and we like to think of it as a next-generation delivery mechanism as opposed to utilizing a biologic to then potentiate another biologic.
So as I understand it, so you basically put electrical energy into the cell, which makes it open up, so then you can get the drugs into the cell, the targeted area, more effectively?
That's right. By enabling the cells, we allow it to absorb the critical therapeutic agent, and then once it's in the cell, it's able to do its intended function. And the benefit we get, depending on the approach that we're using, is what sets us apart. By utilizing this low-dose, direct, targeted delivery, we are developing different applications for oncology, and we're utilizing a process that we refer to as electroimmunotherapy, which is targeting or delivering a DNA IL-12 or a DNA plasmid, encoding it for a protein, IL-12, giving the instructions for the body to then secrete this protein and elicit immune response locally. That immune response locally is exploited to get a very good systemic immune response, and that's very effective for treating metastatic disease. And then our other approach is what we refer to as electrochemotherapy, where we deliver an approved chemotherapeutic, and it is very good at delivering or having a targeted approach and distinguishing between healthy cells versus cancerous cells, and then gives it, by doing this selective therapy, we're able to show it that it is an improvement over standard of care surgery, and it has a better outcome for function, preserving function and cosmetic benefits versus what these patients have to deal with standard of care.
Mm-hmm. So, standard of care, obviously, if you have radiation, that kills a lot of the surrounding tissue, as does chemotherapy throughout systemically. And then I guess with surgery, you actually have, physical deformation, right, from the result of the surgeries themselves. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
Yeah, unfortunately, today's therapies have a very severe impact to the patient's function, cosmetic, and most importantly, the quality of life parameters. And what we're doing here is using a targeted delivery that results in an improved function and cosmetic and quality of life for these patients. Depending on which approach you're taking, it has a very good quality of life impact.
So what's the status of the technology now? Is this something that's been in development? Is it on the market? Or what's the regulatory outlook? And when might this be usable for in the market?
Well, I'll just take a step back and say that so broadly our programs are referred to as electro-oncology. We're using this electroporation technology to in two different avenues, in an immunotherapy setting and in a chemotherapy setting. The chemotherapy application is a much later stage program. We're very excited about the results that we've seen in those studies. We have an extensive amount of clinical experience, quantifiable data in over 400 patients, and that is being leveraged to partner, and with partner we expect to commercialize, where we believe that outside of the U.S. we have a much swifter regulatory path in terms of registration based on the previous data that we have and commercialization. In the U.S., we've identified a very clear development path for a partner to advance. So that product is moving along, and we're in discussions with several different partners to continue advancement. The other side of our program under electro-oncology is what's referred to as electroimmunotherapy, and that is also a very exciting development pipeline for us because we're advancing that program forward in 3 phase 2 studies that are all utilizing the same approach, but for very difficult-to-treat tumors or in indications that have very little treatment options available to them. They're all focused on skin cancers or lethal skin cancers, for that matter, and we're excited to be one of the first companies using gene therapy for Merkel cell carcinoma and cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, in addition to our immunotherapy program for melanoma, metastatic melanoma.
You mentioned, I'd read that you had some progress in getting some clinical trials started on the Merkel cell cancer. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're very happy to be working with the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center and the University of Washington. This is the study. This study is being advanced in a phase 2 program in up to 15 patients with local and distant Merkel cell carcinoma. Merkel cell carcinoma is a neuroendocrine cancer in the skin where these Merkel cells become very malignant. They move to the surface of the skin and it becomes a very aggressive skin cancer. It has a high mortality rate. Unfortunately, these patients have very limited treatment options. Today's first-line therapies are surgery and radiation. So it has not a very good quality of life impact to them. And we're excited about our approach being a potential treatment for these patients. Based on the initiation of the study and the several patients that we've already treated in the study, we're very pleased with the response that it's received, because this is the first time a therapy like ours, an experimental therapy, is being used as a first-line alternative for these patients before being given their standard of care, surgery and radiation. So we look forward to seeing the results out of the study, and it's using the same approach where we are delivering DNA IL-12, and we're measuring local immune response, and we're expecting that local immune response to then also stimulate a systemic response.
Okay, so you've got obviously some promising programs. Would you expect that you would get sort of a fast track approval on this treatment?
Merkel cell is definitely an indication that fits the orphan criteria. So based on the phase 2, this current study that's underway, we feel that we would be able to move into a pivotal study because it's a very unmet medical need. So and fast track is another consideration that we would definitely consider.
Terrific. So where do you see the company at now? You've been developing obviously the technology for some time, and when do you think we would start to see these products in the market and actually come to market with some of this?
So we've been very serious about our development path, and as you can tell, in the last 9 months, we've been very focused on getting our programs off the ground. So this is what is underway today. In this quarter, you'll see another two studies regarding the initiation of phase 2 programs and the initiation of enrollment. So we expect that these studies will help establish the information that we need to design our own pivotal study in one or more of these different indications, either phase 2B studies or pivotal studies, depending on the indication. And we're being very aggressive about our open path. So we want to continue this momentum. It's still early to tell how fast the approval will be for OMS electrode therapy. We expect to get good results out of these studies, that into the next study, and move to part of the program after the commercialization with the help of a partner.
Okay. So we're just getting a little bit of feedback on your. Are you on a cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's no worries. It's just going to clear here in a second. So just obviously we can control the tape. We can edit that section out. We lost a little bit of there, but not so much that we can't use it. So can you talk a little bit about the background and the development of this technology, and in your view, what this technology represents to, the broader issue of cancer treatment?
Absolutely. So, first of all, we're benefiting from an extensive amount of effort that's already been put into development of this technology based on what we did at Inovio Pharmaceuticals. Electroporation, Inovio has been the pioneer in the electroporation space, and there is a lot of different applications for electroporation and immunotherapy and chemotherapy, and what they're working on with DNA vaccines are the areas that have the most advanced development pipelines. So there's a tremendous amount of effort that's already been put into this in terms of resources and investment and research. We want to continue that momentum and move that forward. And the key here for us is to develop, as you know, oncology products, they need to show that they have to have safety, they have to have efficacy, they need to show some sort of pharmacoeconomic benefit. But an important consideration is quality of life, and I think this is what this program sets itself apart. We do a very effective job of demonstrating how we have very good quality of life benefits over today's standard of care in terms of having a therapy that's a simple procedure, that it's low dose, it's local and safe. In our phase 1 studies, we've demonstrated no adverse events higher than grade 2. There's minimal pre-treatment related medication or anything that's required that's typical of a lot of current first-line therapies. And I think one of the important things is that there's minimal post-administration monitoring, which can lend itself to a therapy that could be an outpatient setting for metastatic disease, which is quite significant compared to what we're dealing with some of these first-line therapies that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars for a course of treatment and are systemic and have had a lot of toxicity and other side effects associated with it. So by addressing the quality of life, we also can address the pharmacoeconomics and show that our product has a very good cost of goods, not only from a cost of goods sold perspective, but from a margin perspective of having a really low cost to manufacture.
Mm-hmm. How broadly could this technology be applied to in terms of the ranges of cancers that exist?
Yeah, so our pipeline right now is focused on skin cancers. As you know, it's targeting more lethal skin cancers. We obviously have we've benefited from a lot of experience in our late-stage electrochemotherapy programs. That experience has been in a variety of different solid tumors, from skin cancers to head and neck to breast, liver, pancreas. There is a lot of applications here for all types of solid tumors, and we've initiated the development in indications that would allow us to show the therapy's benefits, demonstrate efficacy, application, and utility before broadening that out in terms of other applications. And also it boils down to where our resources are at the moment. So we want to continue to look at other additional applications, but it's going to have to be one thing at a time.
Sure. If you had to, pick one or two ideas that really takeaways for investors, prospective investors in OncoSec at this point in time, what would you want them to know?
Okay. Well, I think the important thing is here that is OncoSec's in a great position to kind of shorten the usual timelines that a biotech company has to work with. We took a product that has had a significant amount of investment already in it, and we're quickly advancing into a development pipeline, as you know, into 3 important studies. In addition, we have the other program in the chemotherapy side that is near-term registration and commercialization with a partner. So all of these areas represent a tremendous market opportunity and we are working very hard to kind of de-risk the investment or the development, or de-risk the investment opportunity for a potential investor or partner by addressing the later stage aspects of our development pipeline. So we've gone past phase one. We're moving into the next phase of development, and these programs are lending themselves to move into pivotal studies or phase 2B very quickly after this.
Well, sounds very promising. Good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for joining us today.
I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to speaking to you again. And I guess that the main takeaway for us here is that we have phase 2 data coming out of more than one study in the next 12 to 18 months, and that will help drive the development of these programs into further clinical development, as well as potential partnering for the immunotherapy program once we have study results.
Terrific. Well, we look forward to following up with you as those developments come along. That was Punit Dhillon, who is the co-founder, president, and CEO of OncoSec, symbol ONCS on the over-the-counter, talking a little bit about the promising technologies in the area of electroporation. It's Brett Johnson in New York City with OneMedRadio signing off. Good day.